Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Fantasy Football and welcome to my video. In today's video, I'm going to be looking at my team going into Game Week 30 and transfers that I'm thinking to do for that game week. However, I have asked the community on what transfer would you make with the team that I have. So we're going to quickly look at my Twitter tweets and to see what people has come up with. So basically, we are looking, or I am looking for a 1 week game week punt, meaning that I just want that player just for 1 game week and that is it. I will be looking at players that is going to be good for the long term as well. So here we go. So as you can see, I posted this on my Twitter account, just asking people 1 week punt for game week 30. This is your team. Who are you transferring in? So as you can see, this is my team. I already spoke to you guys about this. Martinez in goal, Dallas, Rafinha, Bamford against Sheffield United. I've got Son and Kane against Newcastle, Lucadine and Calvert-Lewin against Crystal Palace at home. Wan-Bissaka, Fernandez at home against Brighton. Gundogan there against Leicester City. If you look at this team, it's pretty solid for Game Week 30. There isn't much that I can do for this game week. We looked at this game week when we were planning for the blank Game Week 29, and it has paid off so far. So the team looks good on paper for Game Week 30, so we will see. Anyways, let's go down. As you can see, Pope, Cresswell, Lingard, Dunk. So I have players, so I don't really need to do much, really. I have players to kind of help me out, but I do want to try something a little bit different. So I asked the people what they think. I asked them about one player to transfer in with the team that I have right now. Who would you go for? So here we go. Let's go down the list. FPL Robbo says Reece James. So he says that Callum Hudson-Odoi is injured, good fixtures and have attacking threat. I do agree with that. Reece James is a player that I had before. He's an attacking defender. And if Hudson-Odoi is injured for long term, then Reece James is going to be a fantastic pick. Moonman says, I have the same 5 midfielders. I'm thinking of starting Lingard instead of Gundogan. This is interesting because a lot of FPL managers are thinking to bench Manchester City players, especially Gundogan. Because in the international break, Gundogan did play a lot of games. There's a lot of players that actually played a lot throughout the international break. So there is going to be a little bit of a rotation risk with some of those players. Okay, I can't argue with that. FPL Tony says Dunk to Alonso if you want to risk or play safe with Azpilicueta. Now, like I said before, Azpilicueta is a player to be on the safe side. If you don't have the wild card and you want to get a Chelsea defender, go for Azpilicueta. Alonso is a little bit of a risky play. Actually, let me zoom this in for you guys. Sorry if it's how am I going to do this? Okay, let me just fix this screen here, guys. So I just don't want to show the news and all that. Let me just, there we go. If I can do this. Oh, perfect. Hopefully that you guys can see it better. And there we go. Now, Alonso is always a risk. We don't know if he's going to play. And I don't think that he is a good option for the long term. Maybe for this game week because Chilwell has played a lot of games in the international break. Chelsea is playing West Brom. And, Alonso didn't go in the international break. So, he's got more rest than... Yeah, it just makes sense. And plus, Chelsea has a Champions League game. It could play Cresswell in that difficult game. So there is a risk there. And I think only take the risk if you can afford it. I have a decent bench to kind of help me out. So if Alonso does not play at all, then I have my bench to help me out there. FPL Boss says Alonso. Rid FPL says Havertz for Gundogan. Havertz is looking good. He's looking good. He scored a couple of goals as well. And yeah, I agree. I think Havertz is a fantastic player. He just needs to get that confidence up to be better. For me, I think Mason Mount is the player that I would want to go for the long term. But definitely Havertz is a good option. FPL Sum says, somewhat same squad like mine. I am thinking of doubling up 2 Chelsea defenders, Azpilicueta and Alonso for -4. You can also do Dunk and Wan-Bissaka / Cresswell to those 2. I mean, that sounds good to me. And -4, I'm not sure for my team. And to be honest with you, for me, I don't really want to take any hits. However, that does look good, because if we are thinking to double up on Chelsea assets, if we are thinking that they are going to, keep a clean sheet, then you're pretty much getting your 4 points back. And if, there's always that chance for Alonso or even Azpilicueta to assist to get more points than 6 points. So, yeah, I agree. I think if you can, if you don't mind taking a -4 point hit, I think there's a good chance. Then, yeah, why not? FBL Mihir says Gundo to Havertz if he doesn't play 90 minutes today. I'm not sure on how many minutes Gundogan has actually played. I think this goes for Havertz as well. So I'm not 100% certain on this, but I can understand why, because a lot of FPL managers are going to be getting Chelsea assets. But for me, I think the defensive option might be better for my team for now. I'm still scared of Gundogan doing really well, so removing him could hurt me. I think this is a risk that could work, but just not for me for now. FPL Buddy says a Gundo to Jota or Mount. Again, another Gundogan out for Jota, a player, in that Liverpool side, hasn't performed well, but him coming back, I think is going to help them out. Good fixtures in the FPL, however, they do have the Real Madrid game, so there could be some rotation there. With Mason Mount, I'm looking to bring him in the wild card for now, because he played in the international break, a lot of games, he might have a rest, so I don't know yet, but still a great option there. FPL Lover, Grealish, Shaw and Jota. Grealish is a great shout, if he's back, definitely, good home fixture against Fulham. Shaw is always a fantastic option. That's why I have Wan-Bissaka there to kind of help me out to get that clean sheet. And Jota, it is on my radar, but for now, I have the team in that midfield that I don't really want to get rid. And Hoff says, this man, easy, and it's Alonso, for those people who don't know. Look at him, he's like, scored like 10 goals there. Now, hopefully I can play the next game. Poisson says Alonso. Tony says Wan-Bissaka to Alonso with a massive grin. Abdul says Alonso all day. Dunk if you have the money and play him for Jota. So basically get Alonso in for Dunk and play him instead of Gundogan. I mean, I think if I do bring Alonso, someone needs to be benched. Marwan says, for my opinion, I think Bamford out, Iheanacho in. I think it might be too soon. I think holding Bamford just for one more game week might be better than Iheanacho in the next game week. Could be a better option, but definitely, doubling up on that Leicester City side, getting Vardy as well could be the way to go. They've got fantastic home fixtures as well with great opponents. Nina says Jota. So that is the FPL community there on Twitter. Fantastic options. So let's just have a quick look on the FPL site with those players. So here are the players that we just spoke about. I have added a few more in there as well for Game Week 13. So in this list, we've got Azpilicueta, Alonso, Dallas, Trent, Alexander-Arnold, James, Havertz, Mount, Grealish, Jota, Rafinha, Calvert-Lewin, Bamford and Iheanacho. For me, I have added Leeds because they have a fantastic home fixture against Sheffield United. I think that if you don't have any Leeds players, you should go ahead and get Bamford, Rafinha or Dallas. For Chelsea, we're looking at those players for the long term. So Azpilicueta, Reece James, Havertz and Mount, they're going to be there for the long term. Alonso is a little bit of a risk, and it all depends on your chip strategies. Some people doesn't have any chips left. Some people has only 3 hits. I have the wild card, and if I am thinking to wild card in Game Week 31, then I can go ahead and try something a little bit different. As you can see, Alonso hasn't played a lot of games, but he has the potential to score goals in these easy games. And this 1 week punt for game week 30 could be the way to go. But I wouldn't take too many risks, guys. You don't have to make this move. Go ahead and bring Azpilicueta, Reece James, Mount or Havertz. Depends on which one of those players that you want. I'm looking at Calvert-Lewin. You know, if you just want that 1 week punt, Calvert-Lewin could be a good option against Crystal Palace. Jack Grealish, I haven't heard anything yet. I need to go and check the press conference. If he is back, he will definitely play, and it is against Fulham at home. And Jota and Trent, 2 Liverpool players. Let's have a quick look at the fixtures. Okay, it is against Arsenal. I can understand it is a difficult game, but then later on, as you can see, Aston Villa at home, Leeds away, Newcastle at home, Man United away is going to be difficult. But then look, the very, very good fixtures there. Getting more Liverpool players throughout this long list of good fixtures is probably the way to go. Now, the last player that I want to quickly mention, Iheanacho. It is on my list, 5.7. As you can see, great form, but the next fixture it is at home against Manchester City. Then it looks good here against West Ham. Then it's West Brom, Crystal Palace, Southampton, Newcastle. These fixtures are really good. And it's cheap enough to be on your bench later on. So it kind of works out. And you can create like a really, really good team with cheap players to kind of help you out. And, you know, if you're looking at this blank game week. So basically, well, I'm going to talk to you guys in a sec anyway, but about my team and what I'm doing. You see this blank game week, right? People are thinking to free hits here because most people will have like maybe 3 to 2 Tottenham players in game week 32. They might have a couple of Manchester City players. So they might not be able to get a starting 11. They might have only 9 players for this game week. And some people might free hit and try and get the best players. So the players that I'm looking at in this game week 33 is Leicester City players against Crystal Palace. I'm looking at Aston Villa players against West Brom. You know, Manchester United against Leeds. You know, you can see a clean sheet here. Clean sheet here maybe. Chelsea assist. It's definitely Liverpool. So, you know, Nacho, Jota, these like cheap players, Neto is definitely going to help you out. So if you are wildcarding in Game Week 31, you got to have these players in mind to kind of help you out. If you go ahead and get Salah, Kevin De Bruyne, or Vardy, I think that's going to hurt your budget. Don't get me wrong, like these players are fantastic, but look at other options as well. For me, for this game week, I'm looking at my overall rank and I'm thinking to myself, okay, for this game week, I do have a decent team. So hopefully I can get another green arrow. Then if I wildcard, then there is a high chance for me to get into the top 50k and push onwards to the top 10k. But we will see. We're going to do one step at a time. Right now, I just want to stay in the top 100k and then get closer to the top 50k, and then we'll see where we go from there. And yeah, we will see, guys. We'll see what happens in the next few game weeks. Thank you so much for joining. Have a good weekend, have a good game week, and I'll see you guys next time. See ya.